When it comes to the overall experience of playing a video game, the music behind the game means a lot. Music has the ability to change our emotional state and make us feel something. This is hugely important to our virtual adventures and contributes to immersion in the game. The story of the evolution of music in video games goes hand in hand with the technological advancements in the gaming and computing industry. Because what separates music in gaming from music in movies and in TV is timing. Music and sounds in a game have to be poised to respond to the input of the player. Without getting too terribly technical, we're going to take a look at the evolution of music in video games. One of the very first video games, Pong, which came out in 1972, is considered to be the first game to have audio. While the beeping of Pong might seem far from music, this was a monumental step on the pathway there. Music at this time was stored physically in analog. This meant that to play music, an arcade cabinet would need to be equipped with a cassette or record player, and that just wasn't feasible. The alternative was digital audio, where electrical impulses are converted into sound waves. The technology for digital audio, though in its infancy, was out there, and Pong developer Al Alcorn incorporated it into the game. Early sound chips could not do much, but if they could create a pitch, they could play music. It wasn't long before certain events in games would cause short musical sound effects to be played. Take for instance the 1975 game Gunfight, which plays a tragic 11-note ditty when one player is shot. The first game to have continual background music was Taito's Space Invaders in 1978. A common misconception is that 8-bit resolution is what gives these early games their signature sound. But 8-bit music doesn't actually sound that different from the modern 16-bit standard. What really gave these games their signature sounds was the limitations of sound chips at the time. Early audio chips were limited to 2 square wave channels. The square wave is that quintessential Atari game sound, and in most cases, when people say 8-bit music, what they mean is a square wave. As sound chips became more sophisticated, developers were able to do much more with video game music. Where the first sound chips had only a few square wave channels, chips in the mid to late 80s were capable of playing more simultaneous channels. The NES and its Japanese equivalent, the Famicom, for example, had a sound chip with 5 channels, 2 square wave channels, 1 triangle wave channel, 1 noise channel, and 1 channel capable of low-quality digital samples. With the broadening of sound capability came some amazing soundtracks. Where the previous generation of soundtracks were made by devs, this generation of soundtracks were made actually by composers. From the late 80s era of gaming, we get the soundtracks from games like The Legend of Zelda, Final Fantasy, and Super Mario Bros. 3. For video game music to progress much further, digital sampling was going to have to take over. While the older digital to analog method sort of progressed into frequency modulation synthesis, basically using a digital synthesizer in the game, the future of video game music lied within digital sampling. Digital sampling works by first recording an analog signal, like using a microphone on a violin. The signal is then converted and stored digitally, using an analog to digital converter or ADC. Then, when the sound needs to be generated, digital data is converted to sound waves that we can hear using digital to analog converters or DACs. This sounds confusing, but the premise is that now a line of code is not generating the music, a performer is. This meant that for the first time, the human voice could be incorporated into a game's sound. Now, there are numerous ways to accomplish this, and some systems followed the NES's footsteps with hybrid designs, but were mostly 16-bit. Excellent and innovative soundtracks like the ones from Super Metroid and Chrono Trigger came from this era. By the time the PlayStation and Nintendo 64 came out of the mid-90s, sample audio quality could match that of CDs. Around this time, home computers were gaining in popularity and also had excellent audio capabilities. At this point, technical limitations were essentially off, and the role of the composer became even more important. Full-string orchestras, electric guitars, and even hip-hop accompanied new, truly amazing games in this age. Covering how video game music evolved from here would be difficult, if not impossible, because of how vast and varied these soundtracks became. Just like before, these soundtracks evoked the emotion or mood of the situation you as a player find yourself in. Only now they could sound just like movie soundtracks, and put you into your character's shoes even more. From the beauty and wonder of Ocarina of Time to the sheer terror of Silent Hill, these games' soundtracks are utterly captivating. To now, we've seen multiple new console generations and improvements in home computers. While audio quality has improved vastly, the music we hear in video games has not changed that much overall. But this wouldn't be an honest timeline without mentioning the Gregorian chanting of the Halo soundtracks. Not only did the music from the Halo trilogy break into mainstream, but it played an important role in showing that emotional and dynamic music wasn't just for RPGs. Another monumental achievement was video game music's first Grammy Award. In 2011, the title song for Civilization IV, Baba Yato, won a Grammy for Best Instrumental Arrangement accompanying vocalists. Music has always played a pivotal role in immersion in gaming, but as we move into the virtual reality age, immersion will be even more critical than ever. It will be interesting to see where developers and composers go from here. This is Fake Life Lore. Thanks for watching.